Hello and welcome to How to Play Qwixx,
presented by GatherTogetherGames.com.
This video will cover how to play the dice game Qwixx. The video will start with the general concepts and gameplay and then get into more of the details for the game. The game is played with 2 to 5 players. To play, you will need the Qwixx game. Each player is given a score sheet and something to write with. Players will take turns rolling one dice. The first player to roll a 6 will take the first turn in the game. The object of the game is to score points. Points are scored based on how many numbers you cross out in each color row during gameplay. Numbers will get crossed out based on the dice rolled throughout gameplay. Players must cross out numbers from left to right in each of the rows. You do not have to cross out the number furthest to the left, but if you skip any numbers, they can no longer be crossed out in the game. For example, this red row has the 3 and the 6 crossed out. This means the red 2, 4, and 5 cannot be crossed out anymore. Only numbers right of the 6 can be crossed out in the red row. Only numbers right of the yellow 7 can be crossed out in the yellow row. Only numbers right of the green 8 can be crossed out in the green row. The blue row is still open and any number can be crossed off in the blue row. Player 2 was first to roll a 6 during the setup and will be the first active player. The active player will roll all 6 dice. Player 2 rolls the dice. As the active player, Player 2 will announce the total amount of the 2 white dice. Player 2 announces 3. All players in the game have the choice to cross off the announced number if wanted. Players are not required to cross off a number at this time. Player 2 crosses off their yellow 3. Player 3 crosses off their yellow 3. Player 2 decides to cross off their red 3. Next, the active player will get to combine one of the white dice with one colored dice to cross off the matching number in the color line that matches the color dice being used. Here, Player 2 combines the yellow 4 rolled with the white 1 rolled to cross off their yellow 5. Only the active player gets to cross off a number using the color dice. The active player moves clockwise left to Player 3. Player 3 rolls all 6 dice and announces the combined white dice amount of 5. Player 3 crosses off their yellow 5. Player 1 crosses off their red 5. Player 2 chooses not to cross a 5 out. Player 3 combines the yellow 6 rolled with the white 1 and crosses out the yellow 7. The active player moves to Player 1. The non-active players can cross a number matching the combined white dice amount if wanted, but are not required to. The active player has the option of crossing out the combined white number, then crossing out a matching number to the combination of one white dice and one color dice. The active player can cross out both numbers or just one number. If the active player cannot or chooses not to cross out either number, a penalty is taken. The penalty is marked by crossing out one of the penalty boxes on the scorecard. The non-active players do not get a penalty for not using the combined white dice number. A row is locked by crossing out the far right number in a row. For red and yellow, it is the 12. For green and blue, it is the 2. A player is only allowed to cross out the far right number and lock a row if they have at least 5 numbers crossed out in that row. Here, the combined white dice rolled equals 12. Red has over 5 crossed out numbers in the red row and is able to cross out the red 12 to lock the row. Player 1 will also cross out the lock symbol on the card for locking the row. When a row is locked, no players can cross out a number in that color row in the future rounds. The dice is removed from the game. It is possible for multiple players to lock the same row on the same turn. The game ends immediately when either a player crosses out their 4th penalty box or 2 dice have been removed from the game. Here, Player 3 crosses out the green 2 to lock the green row. This is the second locked row to end the game. Players will use the scoring table below the colored rows on the score sheet to calculate their scores. The amount of crossed out numbers, including the lock, for a row are found on the table, and the score indicated is recorded. Here, Player 1 has 8 crosses in the red row for 36 points. 3 crosses in the yellow row for 6 points, 5 crosses in the green row for 15 points, and 2 crosses in the blue row for 3 points. Players will lose 5 points for each penalty box crossed out. Player 1 did not have any penalties in the game, so no points are lost. Player 1 scored a total of 60 points. Player 2 has a total of 51 points. Player 3 has a total of 58 points. Player 1 wins this game with the most points. That wraps up How to Play Qwixx. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and get more game tutorials by subscribing to our channel, Gather Together Games. Thanks for watching.